Bryan Johnson is the world's most measured man. Why? Because he's trying to escape death. Yeah, and a lot of people think he's crazy. To be fair, he kind of called himself a vampire after getting a blood transfusion from his son. Yep, that actually happened, and he even has a YouTube video about it. However, I think a lot of ambitious people get called crazy until they actually accomplish what they're after. Not saying I think it's going to happen, I obviously don't know, but it would be pretty cool if it did. Now, regardless of what you and I think of him, I believe there are a lot of things that we can all learn from what he's doing. So let's get into it. 1. Measurement. I said it at the beginning of the video, he's the world's most measured man. Now, 99.999% of the human population cannot afford to get measured as much as he does. And frankly speaking, most people don't want to, nor do they have the time to. At the same time, I don't want to demonize tracking your progress. It's not a bad thing. In fact, I think it has 3 major benefits. 1, it's informative. The only way he's able to reverse his rate of aging is by conducting his experiments, looking at the data, and making decisions accordingly. 2 is accountability. That's why literally every fitness app on the planet has a way for you to track your progress. No one wants to break their 30-day streak. 3 is motivation. Seeing how far you've come makes it easier to keep going, regardless of what you're actually doing. But that still doesn't address the issue of how much his measurement protocol actually costs. I get it. I'm not suggesting that we all go spend $2 million a year to biohack ourselves. What I am suggesting is just tracking your progress when it comes to pursuing your goals. Whether it's related to your health, your relationships, your finances, or anything else, everything can be measured. At the gym, track the weights you're using, the number of sets, and the number of reps. Weigh yourself every morning, which is actually another thing that Bryan does. Studies have shown that the act of just measuring your progress makes it so much more likely for you to achieve anything you're after. I personally think it has a lot to do with the fact that tracking your progress informs you of what your next step should be. It gives you clarity. 2. Discipline and consistency. Yeah, I know this one's obvious, but I had to mention it. I mean, you've got to give it to the guy. He's incredibly disciplined with his routine, his workouts, his diet, his sleep schedule, everything. It's almost religious. I also understand that he's in a very fortunate position and that most people have commitments which prevent that level of consistency. I get it. Better than most people actually, because I work in healthcare. When I get back home at 9:30 p.m. and I need to be at work by 6 a.m. the next day, I'm not getting my 7.5 hours of sleep that I really like. But I do the best that I can. I adapt my sleep schedule based on my commitments so that it's as consistent as it can be. I also take power naps when I need to. And despite the fact that I work for 14 hours a day, I still exercise every single day, even if it's just 15 minutes with only body weight exercises. The point is that I fully believe you can make time for anything if it's a big enough priority for you. There's no such thing as not having enough time. We all have the same amount of time. The way you spend your time is a reflection of what matters to you. Bryan's priorities are pretty damn clear from the way he spends his time. So even if you can only spare 10 minutes a day to do something for your health, I think it's a great start because it's so much better than doing nothing at all. 3. Energy hacking. If you look at the structure of Bryan's morning routine, almost everything that he does is optimized for sustained energy throughout the day. Getting light exposure first thing in the morning with his giant flashlight, hydrating, exercising, avoiding a breakfast full of starchy carbs and opting for vegetables instead, etc. Notice that I'm not talking about the gazillion pills that he takes every day. These are basics that we can all do. Light exposure in the morning helps regulate your circadian rhythm to improve the quality of your sleep. Staying hydrated keeps your body running, literally. Exercise ramps up your body's energy expenditure and produces endorphins, which help manage stress. Avoiding large intakes of starchy carbs prevents energy swings throughout the day because your blood sugar levels won't fluctuate as much. In summary, these are all great, natural ways to improve the quality of your life. And if you're a workaholic, think about it like this. Everyone says that time is their greatest asset. That's only partially true. If you're a slog all day, it doesn't matter if you have all the time in the world, you're not going to be very productive. But if you invest in taking care of your health, the return in terms of improved productivity and quality of life make it a no-brainer. 4. Daily training. Bryan's workout regimen is a daily training plan. He resistance trains almost every day of the week and also sprinkles in endurance training, VO2 max work, etc. Now, I'm not going to break down his whole workout plan here. If you want a video on that, just let me know in the comments. But what I am a big proponent of is the idea of exercising, even if it's just a little bit, every single day. That's what I do. Why? 1, it's super time efficient. I can complete an entire workout within 15 minutes after warming up. 2, it's simple. I only do 3 exercises a day and I do 2 sets of each. 3, it works. After 3 years of daily training, I have a six-pack year-round, I'm probably around 13% body fat, and I feel fantastic. I'll be making several videos on daily training principles and the way I structure my workouts in the future. But in the meantime, let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Don't let perfection get in the way of progress. Now, this might seem contradictory given Bryan's seemingly perfect $2 million routine. However, there is one thing that he can be doing better: sunlight. It's the best natural source of vitamin D that we've got. And he doesn't get sunlight immediately upon waking up because he gets up while it's still dark outside. Instead, he uses a giant flashlight to simulate daytime. The point of this example is to demonstrate that just because you and I might not be able to do everything that Bryan's doing doesn't mean we can't do some version of it. Just because you might not have access to a gym doesn't give you an excuse not to work out. Bodyweight exercises will take you a very long way. Just because you're too busy to cook elaborate meals doesn't give you an excuse to eat junk. Make your meals simpler and quicker to prepare. I know all of this is easier said than done, but the point remains. Just because your conditions aren't ideal doesn't mean you use them as an excuse to make zero progress. There is always something that we can be doing to move the needle forward, even if it's just exercising 15 minutes a day like I do sometimes. You know how 1 divided by 0 is considered to be infinity, right? If doing nothing is 0 and doing something is 1, then doing something to take care of your health is infinitely better than doing nothing at all. 6. Prioritize good body composition over being big. This is probably going to be more applicable to the guys, but dude, Bryan's 46 years old. 46. He looks freaking incredible for a 46-year-old. He looks incredible for any adult at any age. And of course, that's a byproduct of him taking care of his health. I know I already talked about exercise earlier in the video, but if you go online and search for workout plans or how to get in shape, you're going to find a boatload of overwhelming information. And most of this information is relevant to bodybuilders. If you don't want to look like this, you do not need to be following a super rigid push-pull leg split 6 days a week and rest 2 to 5 minutes between each set to maximize muscle growth. Most people, myself included, are not trying to become the Hulk. Now, if that's your goal, great, you do you. But if you're just someone who wants to be healthy, competent, look good, and live a long time, you don't need all of that. Nor do you need to be as extreme as Johnson. The goal is just to have great body composition. So that means low body fat, a good amount of muscle, and you want to be athletic. Generally, that just comes down to having a clean diet, staying hydrated, resistance training, cardio, yoga, and movement throughout the day. Just do those things for a year and both your body composition and mental health will, arbitrarily speaking, be 10 times better. 7. Preventing damage is easier than repairing it. This might be my favorite takeaway from Bryan's entire experiment. If you look at all of the things he does, all of the expensive treatments, what are they doing? They're repairing damage. In summary, I don't care how old you are right now, whether you're 25 or 55, if you're watching this, you probably still have life to live. And one of the best ways to improve the quality of the time you have left is by preventing further damage to your body. Yeah, if you have the means to, obviously repair the damage that's been done. There are natural ways to rehabilitate yourself. I've had to use some of them, like physiotherapy, because of past injuries. Frankly, if you just work your way up to doing all of the basics that I listed earlier, you'll find that you can repair a lot of the damage that's been done. Like the damage done to your posture from sitting too much, or certain hormonal issues due to high body fat and poor stress management. But the major point here is that it's a lot easier to prevent damage than it is to fix it. No, not every issue can be prevented and not every damage is repairable. I get it, but it shouldn't prevent us from trying to do better. So I hope you found that valuable. If you did, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to the channel and signing up for our newsletter, which we're planning to resume once we hit 10,000 members. As always, take care of your health and it will take care of you.